Hi guys, welcome back to Mental Wealth Podcast, and thank you very much for the feedback that we have received for the past two episodes that we have done. We are really happy that you guys are engaging with us, and today we are here again with another episode as per usual. My name is Lilian and I am with
Derek Were.
Asante sana, karibu Derek. Before you tell us how your Valentine's was, I just want to introduce the topic that we're going to talk about today. And we have a guest. She'll introduce herself. But today we want to talk about toxic relationships, romantic relationships to be specific. We want to understand, what is a toxic relationship? What is it? How do you know you're in a toxic relationship? How does it feel to be in a toxic relationship? So that's what we want to talk about. But before we continue, I want to give our guest an opportunity to introduce herself. She is an amazing young lady. She has, how do I even describe her? You just know she's bomb, and you're going to love this episode. That's what I can promise you. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Victory Mugambi, or Vicky Mugambi on Instagram. Please and thanks. Yes, I am also a podcaster, but a dormant one. Very dormant. Very dormant podcaster. Yes, and I'm also friends with Lilian and Derek, and I'm honored and privileged to be among the guests in this podcast. So thank you guys for having me.
Karibu sana, we are really privileged to have you. And yeah, I want to start by asking you guys, we are still in the month of love, by the way. So I wanted to know, how was your Valentine's? I will start with Derek.
You know, ladies are the majority in the house, so ladies first. But anyway, sawa, mimi Valentine yangu, I think I was talking to you that evening. Ilinipata kama I needed to do some cleanup, kusafisha nyumba, to wash my clothes. That evening, I anticipated I would probably go out on a date, maybe one of my friends. But days to Valentine, I think, I don't know what happened. I don't know whether my pockets were thinking different, or I don't know, or maybe I just didn't have the vibe. Yeah, but I was just...
So you cancelled a date?
I didn't cancel. I didn't communicate. I knew I would pick one of my friends and we go out, but I didn't communicate.
Female or male?
Preferably female, sorry.
Oh,
so I didn't contact any, so it means I didn't cancel it.
Ulicheza safe.
Hata kusema.
Hata sikusema, yeah, so...
Okay.
Your day ilikuwa like everyone, everywhere, like, you know, red, you know, maua nini. And
yeah, y'all were shocking us.
Yeah, I'll be honest, me, I have a problem with all of us at the same time. We are going the same place, you know. I don't mind if before the end of this month I take somebody out, we spend a good night, you know, evening. I'll do that. But at uniform we are going, it is like a school, we talk assembly, that has never been my thing.
Heroes.
Okay,
yeah.
It's okay. So Valentine's was you showing your house acts of service.
Yeah. That's a love language.
Which is okay.
How
Vicky?
was your Valentine's? No, before we go to Vicky. You can't.
My Valentine's
spotlight
was the way it was. Okay, I was doing my hair. That my better part of the day was spent doing my hair. And what else did I do? I received a gift, like a gift, some sorts in the evening. I received money, you guys. That's the highlight.
It seems there's something we are not getting. It seems like our listeners and me are in the dark.
Which dark?
No. There's something. Vicky, is you unanipata?
Nakuelewa. Hatuambiwi.
Ask what you want to ask. Okay, guys.
Why did you have to start with?
I don't have anyone that I am claiming, or anyone that can claim me at this moment. So these things were done with just people that are in my life. One said they value my friendship. The one who sent me money said they valued my friendship, and they wanted me to enjoy Valentine's Day. Yes, and the other one just sent a gift.
My question would be, the M-Pesa messages was directly from their phones. You know, you have watched Tina Swindler. how somebody else's money was being used to cater for another person's bills. So I hope the message was reading the name of the person who was calling to say
yes, it was the name of the person who was wishing me a happy Valentine's.
Sikuwa imeandika message from Sheila Kerubu and then Brian anapiga anasema ni pesa yangu.
Yeah, but yeah, I had a good all those were unexpected because, as you know, I didn't expect anything. Yeah, so it was a good day. It was a good day. Yeah.
Wow. Madam Mugambi, victory.
Tell us about your Valentine's.
It was magical.
Wow, you guys.
Magical.
Explain the magic.
Let me explain to you all. So a good sis has been single for 4 years.
Umepata degree?
Mimi na degree yangu na relationships to be graduate. Okay, whatever. But I've been single for quite a while, so I'd never celebrated Valentine's or my birthday or my partner's birthday when we are together, if that makes sense. So this was the first thing that has happened to me. I'm in a relationship. I'm in a very happy one.
Wow!
Congratulations. Thanks. I'm so happy.
Shout out to you, babe.
It has been years.
It has been years. Shout out to you, babe. So I'm in a relationship, a very happy and healthy one.
Shout out to him, man. We are happy and
great
proud.
Guy.
Yes.
I met him and I tell he's a cool guy.
Really cool.
How did I miss the party?
It wasn't a party. They met because I'd come to pick something from the office, and Derek was in the office and I was in the other side of the road. So I mean later. Alafu tukachukua alafu akapatana. Anyway, yes, so it was magical in the sense of like if being loved the way you want to always be loved and openly has never happened to you before, and it happens to you for the first time. Like you don't think of anything else because first of all you have nothing to compare it to. You basically it was just the first time, but it was such a beautiful day. But according to him, things didn't go as he had planned. So in my head, I'm like, if things had gone the way he had planned, then I don't know what I'd be saying.
What did he do for you?
So we, of course, ate. We had pizza, been our favorite meal.
You like pizza?
But see a pizza in just
we are sorry.
Yeah, okay. to me upgrade kidogo.
We thank God.
Yes, we do. we had pizza. Then we had cocktails, and then he went and bought me flowers. But being a very picky person, I kind of like guided him because I'm not the roses. I don't like roses. It's just too cliche. So, and I just don't. I first of all, I don't like flowers themselves, but I like specific ones. So hakuwa anazijua vile zinafaa kukaa. So I guided him on how to buy them.
So at what point do you do this? Because I feel like people, when it comes to gifting, and this is a question I had for people who are celebrating Valentine's Day, do you buy each other gifts and then have like a gift exchange ceremony? Or do you tell someone what you want them to get for you? How do you do it? Ama mwenye tu anaguzwa na roho anunue gifts.
I feel like personally for the both of us we had like a discussion of what we would want. So I was like, this is what I'd want, and I was like, okay, this is what I'd want. But then again, gifts are my biggest love language. They're not for him. So him necessarily, he's just like, okay, kusabu unanifanyia acha hata mimi nitaje. Like hiyo ndo perspective yake kwa story yote. So for him, this not being his biggest love languages, he was mostly catering to me. And now I had to like guide him. It's like, okay, this is how I'd want this to look, or ndo asinipe kitu alafu I'm faking that
you like it.
I like it. So even with the thing of the bouquet, like we had to go together. And now, like I would now instruct the florist. No, I want them to look in a particular way. So for him, it was just like, okay, now I know how you'd want your flowers. You get?
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's bought flowers before, but those were just like, okay, here are your flowers. Like he didn't know, we weren't in a relationship then. But now we're in a relationship, like he was very keen to learn from me. So that's what happened. Like kulikuwa na a lot of twende nikuonyeshe, end of peak, I love something in learn. So that's how we personally did it. And it worked.
Wow.
It worked. But it was such a beautiful day. And
you call it magical.
Yes.
Wow. I think what I like about what Vicky has just said, she paints a picture of a relationship where communication is streamlined.
Yes.
And we will have another chance to talk about healthy relationships. But here, right now, we're here for the toxic.
Toxic.
For the ghetto.
For those of us who have gone to KICD.
For the Kenya School of Character Development. So that's
Alliance.
Alliance, the 254. Yani, that's what we are here to discuss, and we want to talk about our experiences and what we know about toxic relationships. And I was talking to my brother before he came here, and I was telling him, today in our podcast we're going to talk about toxic relationships. I asked him, what views do you have what can you say about toxic relationships? And he told me that if you don't like somebody, let them go. That's what he told me. Like, from either side, either you're the victim or the aggressor. If you don't like somebody, let them go. That's what he told me. But just to start, I want to know, you guys, have you been in toxic relations?
Please refresh your question. How many relationships
how many toxic relationships have you been in?
Maybe from the time I was born.
With your parents.
But I think before we started recording, I told Lilian I have found myself toxic in toxic relationships. That I realized later my childhood environment was toxic. So myself, I was toxic. I was attracting toxic environment and toxic people. So I always ended up attracting toxic partners.
Yeah.
So
Derek ametupeleka mbio. There's been a lot of toxic attracting toxic in toxic. Now, let me ask you a specific question. How do you attract toxic people?
You attract
what is
toxic
that?
People, or I
What
was
do you mean by
attracting
that?
toxic people because it was familiar. You attract what is familiar.
True.
If you have been brought up in a family sometimes where violence is the order of the day, the high likelihood, if you're not one interacting with others outside, and you've not learned love is spread in a different way, you are highly likely to find love and to be happy with a person who is violent to you.
Yes.
So I was from that background. So until anytime I would see somebody who is healthy or is genuine, I would always consider them toxic. And people who are toxic, they're not genuine with me, they want to manipulate me and every other thing. Those are
your type of
the type of partners I was chasing after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I have another question, and I think this will ask Vicky. Because you see, I feel like right now we throw this word toxic around, and some people don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
Because all of us are human beings, and all of us are imperfect. So Vicky, tell us, what is this toxic? What is toxic? What does it mean? If my boyfriend or my someone or my partner does something bad for me today, if he doesn't call me today and he means he should tell me good night before he sleeps, is it toxic?
No. First of all, I would say toxicity is subjective to until a particular level. First of all, if you're in a abusive, verbally, physically, emotionally, and what other level? And mentally. If you're in that type of relationship in itself, that's already toxic. What I would say is subjective is how you... Derek is saying, like, if you're used to a particular environment and then I get into, for instance, there was a guy and I get into a relationship with you, and some things I saw my parents do, and I think it's okay, then when I'm with you, I expect you to do that. So I haven't yet identified that they are wrong things. That's what I'm saying. Like, it varies from person to person until a certain point where the standard is if there's manipulation or intention even to manipulate, if there's physical abuse where you're being beaten, you're being slapped, and this is happening even to both sexes, both males, both females, where your emotions are not even being recognized, because that's very key. When I say I am mad, I don't want you to tell me you'll stop being mad. I need you to.
Or you ask, why are you mad?
Yes, like I am mad in itself. Either give me time to deal with my emotions, or just sit there and know that I am mad. You get my point? Like
validate.
Validate my feelings. That's what I was looking for. Instead of brushing it off, because it will accumulate into some. It will just blow off. And I was like, oh, but you are never like this, because there's constant pile up of things. So until to a certain level, toxicity is subjective. So if you think your boyfriend not calling you before you sleep is being toxic, now that's up to you. But let me tell you, it won't work. It won't work for you. We don't. There's airtime, time in itself.
Maybe to add on what Vicky is saying, okay, toxic. The layman's way, what the dictionary says, is something that is poisonous. You know, but as far as dating and relationships is concerned, is a person's behavior draining your energy, upsetting you, you know. Anytime you spend time with them, sometimes you can feel drained, or their behaviors sometimes can leave you feeling like there's a gap, you know. Yeah, so for example, inconsistency can leave you feeling so hurt, you know. Or even their presence. There are people you spend time with, like you call them, you talk to them over the phone. By the time you're done with that conversation, you feel drained. You feel like you need to re-energize yourself. You need, in fact, to break before you interact with other people. So that is how I can say a toxic relationship is. I think she has also mentioned a few things.
Yeah, I think Vicky has mentioned a lot of things that we'll come back to, but let me just add my voice to toxicity.
Yeah.
And for me, the way I look at toxicity, you've talked about poison, and that's what it is. And poison is something that is harmful to you.
Yeah.
And what happens to somebody when they take poison? What happens to their physical body?
It does.
So that's what a toxic relationship does to your emotional well-being, emotional well-being. And that looks like some of the things that Vicky has mentioned: abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, manipulation, things like that. This is the poison that is eroding your emotional well-being, and in the end you just find that you can't handle, and you find yourself in a place maybe where you're depressed or you're anxious. It's because of these things that have been happening, and the people or person that you have been interacting with that has been eroding your emotional well-being. So for me, I'd say anything that is unhealthy to you, especially abuse, is what we call toxic. Emotional abuse, manipulation, sexual abuse. Those things that have an effect on your mental well-being is what we call toxic. So some of the things you have to figure out, like to what degree do you say somebody is toxic? Because me doing something once, or me doing just something, like, you know, anything, like sometimes somebody doesn't meet your expectation and you're like, he's toxic. No, boss, he's not toxic, you just didn't communicate. And that's the issue. So we need to differentiate between toxic and human beings just being work in progress. Yeah,
I would agree.
And Vicky talked about men and women both experiencing toxic relationships. And I know you're a woman, you'll speak for women. But I think we need to be alive to the fact that also guys face a lot of things. A lot of relationships that are just, you know, anybody should not go through it. I have a friend of mine who, he's a guy. He's in a very toxic relationship. I don't want to explain it because I've not asked for consent to talk about it on our show. But that paints a picture for me of how much guys suffer and they don't talk. Derek, do you want to tell us something about that?
Guys suffer a lot. Sometimes we paint a picture of everything is well. I am in control, or we are all of us happy and in control of everything, to just maintain the status quo, to make your friends feel like, you know, everything is well. Sometimes when you've chased this lady for a while and you know you don't want to lose them, or you're at a point where you are struggling with other things, that you will never resolve. For example, loneliness, and then you imagine letting somebody go. You don't even put first they're toxic. You imagine them going and leaving a particular gap in your life. So you're like, I need to hold on. Then the way society, of course, has made it look like, and for me, saying society is first of all how men have painted it, and then some aspect of women now painting it. But the main conversation starts with the men, where they don't believe you should come out and speak about it anytime you notice there is an issue, you know. And then guys, we hardly talk about relationships. Our conversation, football, you know, party, you talk about other girls, you know. It's a conversation, rarely we talk about it. We don't want to show weakness most of the time. So I'd say many guys are suffering. You know, mtu ameambiwa good night saa 8 mchana. Hiyo kitu imemuma the whole day. Lakini, you know, you're like, let me just keep it. Men to most myself. Of the time open up when things
are thick.
There is no return. That is when they realize, hey, Appa, I have to speak out. Most of the time.
It's a sad state of affairs, because you get, especially these people who say, oh, type yangu ni those crazy girls. Like, be aware of that notion, because when you start accepting that, oh, I like crazy women, what do you particularly mean by crazy women? A woman who comes and throws tantrums at your door.
Dramatic, like, melodramatic.
You are almost explaining me in the past. You will ask my friends, they will tell you Derek
in the past.
Derek was always chasing women. Ukiuliza my friends, ask somebody like Boaz, you guys know Boaz. He will tell you Derek was always looking for women who are dramatic, super dramatic. You know, okay, there is that aspect of drama, but when you're talking about super dramatic, it is beyond drama.
Yeah.
It is beyond the usual. These people are coming with the baggage.
Drama 2.0.
You're the 7.2. They're coming with every other thing. So it is true. When somebody or a guy is telling you they love
crazy women.
So what is it about now that you have been in that space? Why do you where does that statement come from?
It comes from your, as I said earlier, how you have grown up relating with toxic things.
Oh, so you are attracted to.
Yes, you are.
Do you also see these crazy women as a challenge? Would you like to contain them?
Yes.
For us, we see them as real.
Oh.
Yeah, they are real.
Oh, calm, collected. Lilian isn't.
No. Like, why is she calm? Like, kuna kitu anapanga umsiana. This lady will kill me.
She's a time bomb.
She's a time bomb, you know. So we are like, you know, we want that vibe, you know. I want that noise. I remember one of my best moments when I was, you know, Derek before. I remember my ex. We had issues, but alinipatia maneno, like, she was now turning verbally violent in a conversation. We were in a public space. So to make things look okay, was, you know, talking like kuna shida gani, I was like just smiling to make other people
to look like it's a joke.
It's a joke, yeah. That's how I brush. Whenever I feel uncomfortable with something and then it has already attracted people, I smile to make others feel like it's a joke, you know. But apparently later on I was like, this is it. I love the vibe, you know.
In a public space.
Yeah, in a public space. And I was like, I love that vibe. I think she was genuine. She was real. If she was saying I'm bad, I'm stupid and stuff, yes, that's me.
I don't think...
I'm representing so many people outside here.
Yeah, I would understand. But let me ask Vicky. How did you know you were in a toxic relationship?
How did I know? I realized like a month into it, but I think my realization was now when you see that sixth instinct of a woman, that sixth sense.
Please,
it's like,
before you continue, please ensure you tell our listeners it is not this relationship.
It is not
so
this
one. You had a magical Valentine's and then
new year, new man.
Yes, new year, new man. It wasn't. It's not actually recent.
Yes.
Like 4 years ago. There's a woman always knows. I think that best explains, and also it's a good sign for men. Usidanganye mwanamke, tunakuanga tukijua. So it was like those gut feelings like, but 1 + 1 is not adding up to 2. and I hadn't had like enough evidence to call him out. And then at the same time, myself, I'm dealing with self-esteem issues, you know, like I'm yet to build my confidence to the level where I can just call you out on your BS and walk out, you know. As much as like on the outside I look like I'm that person, but when it comes to my emotions, I'm usually okay, I'm gonna give you a chance this time, and then we wait and see until where I'm like, but it started with tiny things like, okay, why aren't you paying for this and you got money, you know, last week? Or where's your money? Or why are you talking to whoever? Why am I seeing or hearing of new girls, and why are your friends warning me of?
Oh, they warned you.
Yeah, it's like, and now they didn't know I was the girlfriend, so they'll just come and talk to me and we'd laugh about it, and I'm just like,
what do you mean they didn't know you were the girlfriend?
It was not in the open.
Oh, it was a secret relationship.
It wasn't secret either. It was those relationships where none of you. Personally, I was proud to say he was my boyfriend, but he wasn't. You get it? Now that's a red flag.
Oh, you guys didn't sit down to like define the relationship.
Now that's the thing. So mimi tu nilianza tu kuitwa babe one morning. Na mimi kama okay.
One fine morning.
One
like, babe it is.
Fine rainy morning. I was like, hey babe, Nico, babe. Or I was like, huh? I was like,
okay, baby it is.
Yes,
baby it is.
Baby it is. We shall ask no further questions. And it's very important for everyone out there, just define your relationship.
Yeah,
So that you don't expect much. But even the lanza. And then now he would, like, you're receiving benefits of being a girlfriend, but apparently you're not the only one.
Oh, it's a whole rally.
It's a whole bandwagon. And then he hadn't come out in his sexuality. So you're dealing with a person dealing with his own sexuality to begin with. Like, okay, I'm not quite sure whether I'm straight fully, or I'm bisexual, or I'm queer, or I'm pansexual. So there's that as well. So as much as he's dealing with me and other girls, he's also dealing with men. So there was also that. Alafu ni ule rafiki tu moja unasikia akitajwa na akimtumia pesa. Women get it from you.
So this guy, he was sending money to...
No, he was being sent for money.
Oh.
And then his schoolmates, his housemate was also his high school mate. So his high school mate was my friend. That's how we met. It was like, na nani ameanza kutumia pesa na fulani. I was like, fulani ni nani? Alikuwa classmate yetu na alikuwa anamkatia tukiwa high school. It's like, okay. Alright. So, yeah, but now I was just constantly accumulating evidence. But I think my breaking point when now he became sexually abusive to me and things happened. And people don't know that even when in a relationship, you need to have consent to be sexually intimate with your partner. It's not automatic, because there are days where, as a woman, as in to me, personally, me choker. And I get my points. And then as a man, there are days where I'm not even in the mental capacity even to look at you and be horny. So there was that. But now it was in my instance, like I was sick, I wasn't doing well, and I was asleep. I don't know how I fell asleep, but I slept. But the next thing I know, there's someone on top of me in my head. I'm like, you don't do that. So now that to me was like my breaking point. But me nilimwachia siku, and then it's like, no, you can't leave me. See, so there's also that thing of nimekukosea and I'm sorry, but there isn't remorse of the action that was done. So they're just
entitled, like, where do you think you're going?
Or who do you think will take you? I've already messed up. You know how virginity is, is treasured, quote unquote, in the African society. It's like, okay, I've already messed up with you physically and also psychologically. So who do you think is gonna take you up, or where do you think you're going? Do you think you'll live and overcome this? Because for a person to take 2 years or 3 years, actually 3 years, to come and tell he's sorry with remorse, that was a person who knew exactly what he was doing. So yeah, me personally, for me, the epitome was like now sexual abuse. And I was like, my nigga, I'm done.
How long were you in this relationship?
6 weeks at that point. Because we had started dating officially in November. And the abuse happened December 11th. So yeah, 6 weeks.
Wow, it wasn't even a long period.
It wasn't. It was such a short period of time, and a lot of things happened within that short period of time.
So let me ask, were you, because you mentioned red flags and things that you could see, so what made you stay for the 6 weeks?
I think the thing with me is when I want to confront someone, I want to confront you with evidence. So it's like, so I'm here sitting around waiting to see.
You're just chilling.
Yes,
data collecting.
Actually, that is what I was doing. Honestly, that is what I was doing the whole time. I was just data collecting, and not to sound like a crazy person, also asking his friends like to stalk him and stuff. It's just like, okay, munenda na nani haya sawa, tell me when you get that, because he's not gonna be honest with me. So it's like, okay, so you did that on this particular day. So that even when I come to you, I have everything. You cannot tell me otherwise. So I stayed within, but it didn't start acting up till like the 3rd week of the relationship. So like those 3 weeks before December the 11th now really like spoke outrageously. So yeah, it was basically data collection, and actually I did it for a long time until the breakup wasn't funny.
It was. So he's over here. He is entitled, thinking where are you going? So how did you manage to leave the situation?
So what happened was, even after December 11th happened, si alikata nimwache. I was like, oh, sawa. So me personally, I hatched a plan. I was like, okay, we're gonna take revenge, and I'll make sure you never forget February the 14th. So because he left Nairobi, so I didn't see him till like January when schools reopened. So like that period between January and 14th was actualizing my plan. So with the help of his friend, which is weird. But yeah, so how I left, I just told him. And now the thing is, I made my hair, I made my nails, and I bought a very cute dress. Despite being in depression, because once you're raped, you're never the same, and that's something that people need to know. It doesn't matter whether it was your father, your brother, or it's just someone who has infringed your privacy, and it's different, because this sex is deep. Sex is so much deeper than we want it to look like. So when someone rapes you are not the same person. So I'm here dealing with depression because I didn't tell anyone for like 2 years. And now I also have to deal with this man and let him know, by the way, what you did to me wasn't right. I can't even report you because I showered afterward. What people don't know is once you're raped, you feel so dirty and it never leaves you. So even you take longer than you should or you were showering with the hope that, hey,
you'll clean.
But it doesn't. So I hatched a plan. So from when he came back till like the 14th. So once, like on the 14th, I dressed up, went and told him, okay, so you are lying to me. On this particular day, you are here. On this particular day, you're talking to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. You're also talking with another man behind my back. I actually don't even know whether I'm the main chick or the side chick. And you're here trying to control me. So it was like a whole confrontation. Another thing with men, I think, once facts are given, he went silent the whole time. So there isn't even an agree or a disagree. It's not like I wanted it, already made up my mind anyway. But he just didn't do anything. He was just quiet the whole time. But now he became physically violent because he now locked me in the house. It's like, you're not leaving. And then I was just like, me utanieka hapa. So it became very physical. It's like, I don't want to hit you, but now you're forcing me to hit you. So it took a couple of slaps. Nimchapa mara tatu, aka regain consciousness, kambia fungo. And I walked out. And that is the last day I've ever seen him in my life. And I don't ever want to see him again. So now I have a PTSD of people of that particular tribe and region. Like, I cannot date anyone from there. And neither can we be friends. Like, not in an offensive way, but already my mind...
Yeah, you have some...
My perpetrator was my boyfriend to begin with. And it was from there. You think you, who I don't know, I'll trust you. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So now I have PTSD of that and people who look at a particular type of way, to say the least. Yeah, but you overcome it with time. You overcome it once you start being open and you start talking about it more. You get you get better. And the thing is, being a sexual or a rape victim, I don't identify as a rape victim. It's just like, I'm not a victim. Because when we give perpetrators so much power that now it becomes a thing for them. It's like, you might have messed with me once, but you're not going to mess with me the rest of my life. But that also means you also have to accept that you've gone through things and be ready to ask for help. And also what I have done with people who have tried to woo me into relationships is be open about it and say, I have been sexually assaulted before.
This is where I'm coming from.
This is where I'm coming from. And if you cannot handle me from that capacity, then we cannot talk. That sometimes means we might be sexually intimate and I just tell you, stop. It doesn't matter how far you think you're gone or I'm gone. When I just say, just achana tu na mimi. So being very open. Also being able to identify that those are my triggers, because you don't know. And then avoiding particular things. So I'm avoiding particular cuisines as well, because that's where he's from. But now on the flip side is, you can even get attracted to those type of people. Not everyone's mental state is the same. But now for me, it was a big repellent. Now for others, it would be, oh no, I'm attracted to that type of person. But yeah, I'm over it. It happened 5 years ago. So you get over it, you become happy.
Where would you say you are now? How are you doing now?
I'm very happy. I am very, very happy. But it took me 4 years to get to a mental stability where it doesn't matter what a man does to me, but you're not identifying my emotional state.
What was the process like of these 4 years? Did you go to therapy? What was the process?
I did not go to therapy, because going to therapy means you'll have to ask your parent for money. And how do you start explaining to an African mom, unajua baby,
I'm going to therapy.
Nenda therapy.
To
Therapy
do what?
means physical therapy. Are you hurt? Are your bones okay? Because that's what they know. So no, I didn't tell. I'm telling you, I think I first told my sister 2 years later. So when I told her 2 years later. She was the first person I told. You all know Halima, yeah?
Yeah.
Halima is my best friend. I told Halima, my sister, and another best friend of mine 2 years later. That's when I told them. So this means these 2 years before, it's 6 months of fast, very, very bad depression, where I couldn't sleep in a bed because it happened kwa kitanda, where like things that just moved me back to that day, I wouldn't do them. I wouldn't be with a man in any enclosed environment at any particular point. It doesn't matter if you're my friend, I just don't want to be with you. And now also not dating at all. So it was 6 months of depression, and then now 6 months of like, okay, you need to dust yourself, girl. But it takes a while. I'm still also in that process, because you never really heal 100%, but you can heal to a particular level. So yeah, but it's been 4 years. You get to do things that you love as well. Like also now have good friendships, understand and value now genuine friendships from both sexes, and also know that not all men are bad. There's always some good in bad, either like they always go together. But now don't also be in a hurry of, okay, I want to date this person, I want to date the other person. So don't, person for me is like, I went from, I'm not dating anyone, I'm going to deal with myself and this. But my wake-up call was my school grades. It's like, hey, GP yangu imeshuka man. I was like, hey girl, watch your gene. So it was a rude awakening, but I can't say that I woke up and, oh yeah, I'm better, no. Because there are days where...
It was a process.
Yeah, because there are days where the anxiety will creep, you know. You deal with it slowly. It's a step at a time. But what I'd say, that get friends. As much as you might not verbally say what you're going through, the friends you have will determine how also your mental state would be. Also, like people who you enjoy your time with. Spend time with those people, and then when you go back home, you will remember that time for a while, but it will slowly start to fade.
Let me ask, you said after that affair you took a break. Because at times many people don't take a break, and there's a possibility they jump into another similar affair. So what was like for you during this period? What was happening that you think was a game changer during this period that you were single and spending time with friends?
I understood who I was and the power that I have and how much you can talk to yourself and how much it can affect you. So that was it for me. Like it's just like I'm not. It wasn't my fault. Also, if you're a victim of rape, you also see like, oh, ilikuwa makosa yangu, or singeenda hiyo siku, you know, probably if I hadn't gone that day, but you didn't know it was going to happen. So first of all, it's like I did not victim blame myself. It's like it was entirely your fault. You are the only person who had a role to play, because personally I think I was drugged, because I don't see how.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Because I don't
find yourself asleep.
Because I don't see how you can fall asleep that deeply and not even hear when you're being stripped. You get my point?
Yeah.
Because alinipea drink before all this happened and me getting drowsy. So it's like, nah, you dragged me. And I don't know if... I didn't even bother to ask. So don't victim blame. It is never how you dressed or how you looked that day. It is never that. It was always that other person's, the perpetrator's intentions. So I stopped victim blaming myself. Again, I surrounded myself with good people, and then I became unapologetically myself, meaning I would say what's on my mind, I would say what I like and what I don't like, and if you're not comfortable with it, baby, go. It is not si lazima to accommodate in some things, especially things that are non-negotiable. For me, these things like, if you joke about rape, my friend, we cannot be friends. It doesn't matter. If you joke about rape or any sort of abuse, that will not run. So, see the door. And as much as don't be see the door via talk or when day, for me, it's just like, no, you're not the type of person I want to hang around with. Because it means you're demoralizing someone who's probably going through that and wants to talk about it now, but they won't come out now. So, yeah, it was reading. It was also, it was such an awakening. But at the same time, I also immersed myself in a lot of work. I was like, okay, if you want to do this, I'll help you. If you want to go here, I'll go here. And biggest credit of all, God. I'm not even lying. Because for 2 years not talking about it, the only person who knew what I was going through was myself, the perpetrator, and God. So I was like, hey, Mungu sasa, ABCD has happened. And I don't know what else to do. And my family is a very Christian family, so my runaway was now God. It's just, you cry. It was like, hey, she's too deep in God. I go, hey, mashida zangu, man. Najua ni Mungu, but mashida zangu. So I think spirituality also helped. That's why I don't joke around with spirituality. I'm not talking about religion. But spirituality and the acknowledgement, there was an upper hand
that had
a
role in getting you out of the situation that you needed to get out of.
Yes.
So that was very unfortunate. I'm happy. First of all, I'm happy that you're in a better place.
Yes.
But whatever you went through, you didn't deserve. And I hope that if anyone is listening to us and they're in the same situation or in a toxic situation, they understand that it's not your fault that you're being abused in any way, either physically or emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much for sharing.